Okay, hello everyone! Welcome back, or welcome. I'm Joey, and today I'm going to do the first video of what I would like to do as like a book versus movie kind of series of videos that I would like to do on YouTube, as there's so many books that are also movies, especially ones that I've read. I don't have a lot of them at the moment, but yeah, so I'm going to start off by doing the book After by Todd. I just recently rewatched the movie, and I'm just going to compare the plots and what happens, so stay tuned if you want to hear more about that. Hi, sorry, before I get on with the video, I just wanted to put a disclaimer that there will be spoilers, and I will be talking about the endings of both the book and the movie. So if you haven't read the book and you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to know what happens, please stop here. I don't want to spoil it for you. Just before I start, if I'm being a little bit weird with this wrist, like holding against my drink bottle, or just like it just kind of sitting here, is because I've injured my wrist at work. I work in reception, and the use of like the mouse constantly typing and that, I've hurt my wrist as of yesterday, so it's really sore, and I just saw my doctor and he told me to rest it, so I'm trying not to use it, which is very hard because I'm right-handed and this is my right hand, so me trying to write out my notes off my phone was impossible because it hurt using my right hand and I can't read my left hand writing. So anyway, so After is the book that we are comparing to its movie today. The book came out first, obviously, as they always do. So the general gist of the book is Tessa goes to college, she meets new people, she like falls for this guy who's very different. Her mom hates it, basically, and there's this whole dare and all that goes on. If you want to know more of a book review on that, just let me know down below. I'm not going to be reviewing the book, I'm just going to be comparing the book to the movie. So, just a few little things, because there is like a couple massive things that are different, but I can't even read what I wrote. Okay, so there's a character named Tristan. In the book, I read it and I assumed it's not that big of a deal. Maybe in the book Tristan was a male, but in the movie Tristan is a female. I had no idea when I was reading the book. Maybe I just didn't understand that and didn't come across to me, but I was surprised. Didn't bother me, but I was surprised that Tristan was a girl. And her and Stephanie from the very beginning of the book, sorry, not the book, the movie, the movie were all touchy-feely and kissy, so I don't remember them being dating in the book until towards the end, I think. So that was also something. One of the things with the whole movie as well, it was very fast-paced, which I understand because it's a movie and the book is quite big. That's a lot to fit into what, an hour and a half, under 2 hours. So I understand that it was fast-paced, but it went so quickly. Like when I was watching it, I was like, I could feel how much of the book was just condensed into a really like short scene. Or for example, Tessa and Harden, so she didn't want anything to do with him at the beginning, and then he's like, let's just be friends, and then they go on their date to the lake, like not the date, but where he takes her to the lake, and that's like a very significant, one of like the big parts of the book is when they go to the lake. And it was weird because they hadn't hung out at all before that. I don't remember if they did in the book, but it felt like it was just kind of a quick jump from her hating him to her being his best friend. But I get that it's fast paced, but I thought it was quite a big jump. Maybe there could have been something else in there just to kind of smooth it along. But I also thought, so in the book, sorry this is a bit all over the place, but in the book Tessa was said to be a very conservative dresser. In the movie, she was definitely conservative, for like she was always wearing like a t-shirt at least and like a longer skirt, but it wasn't the amount of conservative I was expecting. When someone in a book says they dress conservative, I expect like just like no skin showed at all. Like I expected very, very conservative, but it was still just kind of like normal, not normal, but regular clothes, just like a long skirt with a t-shirt. So I didn't find that was as conservative as she came off in the book. Oh, one of the other things with other characters, so Molly and Stephanie, or Steph. So Steph is her, I forget her name. Tessa, the main character. So Stephanie is Tessa's roommate at college, and when you watch the movie, I don't remember her having red hair in the book. Molly was always referred to as the girl, or pink, sorry. Molly was always referred to as the girl with pink hair. And in the movie, Molly had her pinky red hair, but Stephanie also had reddy hair. And they both had like brown hair with the red, and they just looked very similar, so I got them mixed up quite a bit. Noah looked different than I expected. He didn't have as big of a part as I believe he did in the other one. Like, he was probably in like, he was in the moving in scene, he came to visit maybe like once more, but he wasn't really in the movie very much, but he was more prevalent in the book. One of the bigger things is the lake scene. So in the movie, what happens is they go to the lake. Hardin gets her to go swimming, and in return he answers a question of hers. And what happens is, in the movie, they get out of the water, he goes to touch her, and she not freaks out, but she's never been touched before, so she acts in a way, and he's surprised and he won't do it. But in the book, he does. So that was a bit different. So in the movie, they took it back a step than it is in the book, which I thought was interesting. I think it was a good choice at the time as well. I like how in the book it had it though. So the book worked, but I think what they did in the movie worked for the movie, especially since how quick the movie was moving in relation to the book. Okay, so excuse me. Okay. And before I talk about the biggest difference in the book, the whole, like, if you haven't seen this movie, haven't read this book, you should stop, because I don't want to spoil it for you. But this is just, I'm not talking about that just yet, just one last thing that I can see in my notes. Oh, okay, wait, two things. Jace, the character, I'm pretty sure in the book he wasn't introduced until later on, but in the movie he's introduced in the very first party. He's meant to be like that friend, that really bad friend for Hardin, so the other main character. I feel like they should have waited and put him in where the book put him in. Like, he might have been brought in the first party, but I just cannot recall it. Things like that, I feel like his importance in the book, because he becomes a little bit more important in later books, wasn't brought across to the movie, as well as the character Zed, which I will talk about in this one of the other bits. But the one other thing I wanted to talk about before the big complication is they move into an apartment together. Now, in the movie, Hardin says he has a friend who he's looking after their apartment, watering the plants, so they're gonna live there together until they get back next year. Seems not that bad, because they're not signing a lease and all that, so it's not too bad, I guess. And then, but in the book, he goes hunting for an apartment, rents them an apartment, signs a lease. So that's the big difference, is in the movie, it's just like, oh, we're looking after someone's house for a year, why don't you come live with me here? But in the book, he rents out an apartment and signs a lease and pays rent for a house, for an apartment, which is very different. That was just one of the very different things. Okay, this is my last warning for spoilers. I'm about to talk about the big complication of the book that you and the movie that you find out towards the end. So if you haven't seen it or you do not want to know, please stop here and go read or watch the movie. Okay, so the dare. Dun dun dun. So if you've read the book or seen the movie, you know that there's a dare. That is the whole reason the book, like, that's the whole reason of the book. So I'll talk about the movie first. So the dare in the movie is that Hardin alone, no other character, that's important. At the first party, Tessa was dared to kiss Hardin and she wouldn't do it, she refused. And then once she walked away, they kept filming. This is what they show you at the end, is that Hardin was like, well, I can make her fall in love with me. And they're all like, yeah, nah, no way, not possible, buddy. She doesn't want anything to do with you. And then So they all create this dare where, well, I think Hardin creates it in the movie that what he's going to do is make her fall in love with him and then switch it off. Just completely cut her off. So that's the dare in the movie. And then the dare in the book is completely different. So the dare in the book involves Zed and Hardin. So Zed is a character, I don't know if I've mentioned much of him. He is just another friend of the friend group who is genuinely interested in dating Tessa. Now he is genuinely interested in her. She's not interested because at the start of the book she had a boyfriend, Noah. At the end, she doesn't. Okay, so the dare is I can't remember if they like win something, but Zed and Hardin are whoever can get her in bed first because she's a virgin wins, and they need proof. Yeah, so that's the dare, and obviously that's very different to the movie because Zed's not involved. The dare is completely different. Falling in love and having sex with someone is completely different than falling in love. Like, it's different and it's painful on different levels. I kind of wish that they stuck with the book's way. I feel like the make her fall in love and turn it off is a bit of a cop-out and a little bit lame, like and I'm just gonna turn it off. Like, he said that he could turn love off, on and off, like he had a switch, and that was the whole point of that, was that he could just switch it off, but he'd fallen in love with her, so obviously he couldn't switch it off. But I preferred the book. Now, everyone always says they prefer the book, but the books aren't always, they're not taken properly and portrayed properly in the movie. So they changed the book, which is fine. I understand why they did it all. It wasn't a bad movie. I enjoyed it, still enjoyed it, but I think the reason they did it was to make it so that it could reach to more audiences. Because if it has a lot of sex scenes and a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of younger kids or young teenagers or even just teenagers in general, their parents won't let them watch it, even if they want to. So I feel like that's why they changed the movie and made it fall in love instead of take her virginity. I understand why, but I think the book was more interesting. When I found that out, when I read the book, I was so shocked. So, there's not much else to say. I know that was a little bit muddled and all over the place. There is quite a few little differences, such as Noah doesn't look as I expected, or sound. Molly and Stephanie, a lot of the characters, I visualize them differently, but that's just me. And then Zed not being incorporated into the movie much. I feel like he was kind of just cut out, which is weird as well, because I know they're making After We Collided, but Zed's more a part of those books as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna rate the book against the movie. So I preferred the book. I did like the movie, but I preferred the book. The reasons: the story was completely different and it was more interesting in the book. There was more character involvement in the book, and a lot of things just came across not as expected in the movie, and those things I preferred how they were in the book. The movie just seemed a little bit muddled and not a lot made sense. Only Hardin and Tessa were focused on, which makes sense because they're the main characters, but a lot of the other characters were barely involved, whereas in the book they were throughout the whole book, making sure the dares went properly and everything went smoothly. So that's why I preferred the book, but I still liked the movie. I still enjoyed the movie, but the book is better, in my opinion. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave that there. So this was I guess episode 1 of Book versus Movie After by Anna Todd. This one, the book takes the win. And yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry if I was a bit weird with my wrist. But hopefully if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what other books you want me to review as movies, do a book versus movie on. Leave me a comment, and if you liked it, I would love if you could subscribe. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye!